Welcome to regular session, Mayor and City Council meeting, 6 p.m. Wednesday, November 6, 2024, City Hall Complex, Council Chambers. Call this meeting to order. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mr. Kramer, do us the honors.
Certainly, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. I got called to a public, Mr. Bob Bruno Ferretti. Would you please come up, sir? Mr. Bruno, please come up to the podium and please state your name and address and you're offering your subject.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Ferretti. I go by my middle name, Bruno. Everybody calls me Bruno. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. Had a nice conversation with Jessica back there a little bit ago. Met her. I was invited this morning by the mayor. We had breakfast this morning, and he asked me to come this evening and just speak to you about what we have going here in Nogales. My company recently purchased the new gasoline facility right here on Grant Street, 282 Grant Road. If you haven't been there to see it, it goes along the lines of what the mayor talked about on October 22nd, revitalization of Nogales. If you would have seen this station before, it was a 4-bay gasoline mechanical station. If you were to see it now, you just wouldn't believe it. One of the symbols of quality. You'll never see a gasoline station again. When you walk in, you'll see a chandelier right there in the sales room. And that chandelier symbolizes quality and just greatness by all of our young gals that work there. We will have food there as well. And the branded gasoline, it'll be a marathon once we get the vendors to brand it. We have an outstanding, excellent price. We're quality inside and outside. And if you ever want to come to something that's highly unusual, come and visit us. We'll be glad to have everybody there. And Mayor, I want to thank you for inviting me here. This is the first time I came to a session, and I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Brian Vanderbilt. Please come to the podium, state your name and address, please, and your matter.
Good evening. My name is Brian Vanderbilt. My address is Box 1861 in Tubac. I am here tonight to speak very briefly about, I'm a member of the library board, and I'm here to speak about the library and the library board. Later on in your agenda tonight, you have an item where you're going to acknowledge and recognize 2 new members of our board, which I appreciate you taking the time to do that. The library, as you know, is a vital component of our community. Now we just don't refer to libraries as books and computers, but they're community centers with many, many community activities going on. The library is a 60-year-old building here on Grand Avenue. It's constantly going under improvements. This past year, we replaced half of the floor, which was 60 years old, and this coming year, we hope to have another capital improvement of the remaining balance of the floor, the tile floor that was installed in the 1960s. We always invite you to come by and see the library, the park outside. I know that Mr. Kramer has expressed interest in seeing the county libraries, the other county libraries that we have in Tubac, Sonoita, and Rio Rico. You're always welcome, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for supporting the library. Next, we have Mr. Robert Gilliland. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Sorry for the last minute addition to the meeting. I'll keep it really brief. 2 weeks ago, I was invited to participate in the first Congreso Internacional de Derecho, the first, I would say, international law day that they're having at the University of Sonora here in Nogales, Sonora. I know that we are interested in having international relations with our neighbors across the line. And I thought that I would let you know about it before you finding out about it later on. So that's going to be November 20th and 21st. They've asked me to speak from 4 to 5 on November the 20th. Yep. Anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have item number 4, public hearing number 1. Public zoning, planning and zoning public hearing. Is that just an agenda to confirm, right?
Mr. Mayor, that's put on item number 9 for the ordinance. We need to open up a public hearing before the item number 9.
Okay. My bad. So next we have the presentation number 5, a presentation, city attorney of Attorney General decision on open meeting law violation complaint. Go ahead.
Mayor and Council, as you know, there was an allegation that there was an open meeting law violation. That went to the Attorney General. The Attorney General issued a disposition letter, which I have sent to each of you by email, where the Attorney General found that there was, in fact, an open meeting law violation in connection with the meeting with South 32. The Attorney General, the request is for the council to receive open meeting law training, which I will provide at a special meeting in January. A copy of the Attorney General disposition letter is on file with the city clerk as a public record. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Let me just say one more thing. I would recommend, regardless of the Attorney General's request for open meeting law training, that training be done on an annual basis anyway for the council, along with conflicts of interest training and public records training. And because what I would typically do is just have that done annually as a refresher. And in this case, since we're having a new council member being sworn in January, we would, strongly recommend doing that anyway. So, I know that some of you asked whether you are required to go. I can't force anybody to go to a open meeting law training. It's a lot of fun and exciting. Not really, but it's better than some others. So anyway, but I would say I would recommend that the council sort of plan on that kind of training on an annual basis, just as a refresher, and then after elections, obviously, when there are new council members on board.
Thank you, sir. Star, you want to say something?
I know that some of us weren't involved in this, but at the same time, it's, when you first become a council member, they do cover a lot of the open meeting laws and whatnot. And you can really never get enough. So I do recommend it to the rest of the council that we should all be there, and hope we get notified with time to know exactly the date and time. And again, like it's I don't know if it's a lot of fun, but it's very interesting and it's very informative. So I guess if the Attorney General feels we probably need it, I think that every council throughout the state probably needs it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next, we move. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Before we go on, this is for legal. Under the public hearing for the planning and zoning, it's a requirement that we have a public hearing before we act on an order which falls later on in the agenda. And by that, we need to ask if there's any call to the public or anything else. We actually have a meeting,
Right.
go through the motions, and we did not do that.
I would recommend that you open the public hearing once you get to items 9A and 9B at that time, and then take comment. Then either before, typically we would have staff do a presentation on the two ordinances, then the council could ask questions, and then you open to the public, and then you bring it back for the council. So it's at that time we would open the public hearing.
We already had the presentation at the prior meeting, so
Okay.
it's just the
Yeah.
public meeting.
So, right, got it.
Thank you. The next, we move to, it's the presentation, Mr. Noel, is it going to be?
Chief's coming up.
Go ahead, Chief. Go item B, presentation of municipal parking services pilot program for parking meters services. Chief, go ahead.
Mayor, if I may. Good evening, Council. Unfortunately, we had a breakdown in communication with this vendor, and as of this time, they have not provided us with a link for their presentation. So at this point, we cannot proceed with this presentation. So I advise the city manager, Mr. Kramer, on the procedures to follow from there.
Well,
Advised to table this item.
yes. All right, Council, we'll table item B on this presentation. Anybody make a motion? I make a motion to table it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? All right.
Thank you, and I apologize.
No problem, sir. Thank you. So item B is tabled for next month, Ms.
Yes.
Robinson. Thank you. Next, we move to item 6, financial monthly report. 8, September 2024 financial monthly report. Ms. Jean?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. In front of you, you have the September finance report. We'll go ahead and begin with Table A. Table A is your general fund. For revenues through September, we should be at about 25%, the 1/4 of our budget. For revenues, we have collected $7,865,520, which is 29%. And overall for general expenditures has been $8,587,072, which is 23%. You'll also see on Table A our shared revenue. We have brought in $2,388,552, which is 24%. If you move on to Table B, this is our sales tax. You will see for September, the sales tax collected was $679,191. This is a drop compared to September of last year, but please remember that it's not the amount that is collected during the month, but when it comes into our checking account. So October 1st, we had a very large deposit. So you will see in October, our numbers come right back. If you move on to Table C, this is the breakdown of each of the general fund accounts. The ones in blue are the ones that are over the 25%. Please remember that that deals a lot with encumbered. It deals with annual payments that we've made at the beginning and capital accounts. If you move on to Table D, this is our HERF and our overweight. For HERF, we have collected $804,359, which is 31%. And overweight, we have collected $84,872, which is 28%. For expenditures for HERF, we have expended out $955,173, which is 25%. And for the overweight, we have not expended out anything yet. If we move on to Table E, this is our sewer account. We have brought in $913,479, which is 30%, and expended out $562,375, which is 24%. Table F is our water. We have collected $1,010,365, which is 28%, and expended out $1,418,730, which is 30%. The final table is Table G, and that is sanitation. We have received in $732,484, which is 26%, and expended out $639,685, which is 16%. Is there any questions on that part?
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Gene, on last month, we transferred 118,000 for a job on the wash.
Yes.
And it was going to come out of the contingency, right?
That happened in October, so you won't see it until the December report because that's the October numbers. These
so
are the
that's-
September numbers.
So it's not reflected in this report?
Not yet, no.
All right, thank you.
So you will see it next month.
All right, thank you.
Go ahead, G.
Okay, the final part of this part is the business licenses. So for October, we had 2,940 business licenses that were active. We had 3 that were canceled or suspended. We had 21 new issued, and we have 47 that are still in the process of receiving their licenses, waiting for inspections or corrections on their inspections. And last month, I was asked to continue putting the water and sewer, so you'll see that. We currently have 6,103 active utility accounts. That's water, sewer, and/or sanitation. We have 78 that have active contracts with us, so they're currently paying their monthly plus the additional amount that they contracted. We have 160 that are delinquent accounts that are in the Valle Verde area, the ones that we cannot shut off their services. I have sent a letter to Mr. Kramer and Mr. Palladini so that we can start the process again of trying to get the people who aren't making their payments to start making those payments so those numbers can drop again. When I started here, that total number was about 750,000. We have dropped it to 363,000, and we're hoping these letters over the next couple months will continue to bring that down. And then the last part of that is the payouts. You'll notice in August, oh, sure.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Before we move off of this subject here, those letters have been sent out to the residents or just to Mr. Kramer and Mr. Palladino
Well, I just got their approval the other day of the letter
to send them out?
to send it out.
Because
And
last meeting, Mr. Palladini said he wasn't aware of any
Right.
of these issues. So just want to make sure we're moving on it
Yes.
in a timely manner.
in fact, the first set of them go out in the mail tomorrow.
Thank you.
The final part is the payout. For August, we had one payout in streets of $1,045.71. In September, we had 2 for police totaling $4,172.68, and 1 from housing of $850.83. And in October, we had 1 payout of admin totaling $26,444.62. Any other questions on that?
Any questions? Go ahead, Ms. Councilwoman.
I was the one that asked you about the list of delinquent accounts. And Jean, so these are, just so, it's not that you didn't explain it right, but it's just me. So people that live in these areas that haven't paid their sewer bill, these are part of the 160?
Yes, ma'am.
How about those people that have moved, closed the account, or never closed it, but they left and never paid, which is outstanding? Is that also part of the 160?
If it still shows it on our side as an active account, it's included in the 160. And that's where these new letters, as we send them out, if they're returned to us, or if somebody comes to us and says, I live here now, not this person, then we can go after who lived there before. We've done skip traces on some of them before and found them and gotten them.
And some of them you haven't. Some of
No,
them
there's
just
some of
never
them that
paid
we
before.
cannot find.
Okay.
And I mean, I think that might happen anywhere. There are some that have outstanding balances on accounts, and then they've moved somewhere else in town, and we were able to then collect on the other one due to that also. So there's a lot of different,
Reasons, yeah, I
Reasons, yeah.
understand that part. So it's a total of $363,000 that
Yes,
goes
it
to
is.
the city in out of the 160 delinquent accounts?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I have other questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
You want me to
continue.
finish? Is it-
Continue,
okay.
yes.
Have you started the audit process?
Yes, in fact, the audit started on July 1st. The auditors were out here the third week of July. And in fact, they will be out here the week of November 18th for a secondary visit. So if anybody, it's open to any council member, if they would like to speak with our auditors, they will be here. And then they do their final visit in December.
Yeah, one of the questions I had before, and it's on record, and I think I discussed it with you too, is that, and I talked to Mr. Kramer already about it, is that we're always very late into the budget process. And I suggested, I talked to him that we started early. And one of the reasons that you said that you didn't start it early before was because, the audit was late. And I hope that this time around we start early so that we can collaborate and get more input from the community and from the directors, of course, and do it a little bit different now, where we're not deciding if we're going to give raises from one day to the other, for example. And I think it's going to be more transparent, and we're going to make better use of our public funds in that way. So you also have hired a third-party consultant to work with you to.
We did not hire one.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about that? Because it's one of the recommendations from
Yes.
the auditor that you guys needed to hire a third-party consultant to help you get the audit in time.
Right. So instead of hiring the third-party consultant, their auditors have decided that they would, and that's the visit on the 18th of this month, yes, they are doing part of that with us then. So instead of hiring a third party to help train us and help us learn what they are doing for that part, they are going to teach us what they're doing in that part. So then it's not an extra expense. It's just part of our audit this year. So we did work with them on that. So it will save the city money in the long run.
And that was my issue too, is that I know you were very for it and agreeing to a consultant, but I was like, you've been here for a while, and it hasn't been turnover in terms of employees. And so in the audit, there was a couple of red flags. So that's what you're working towards. That's your goal.
Yes.
Is to make sure we don't have red flags, make sure that we don't have repeats of red flags.
Exactly.
Some have been there for previous years already.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Councilman Doyle?
Yes, I guess I got a two-part question here. One is on those accounts that are delinquent, is that just residential or commercial, or
They are both.
they're both?
They are both.
And then the second part would be, I think this month the IOI is kind of taking over the responsibilities the city had with the IOI, and in doing so, I believe we used to charge for the lateral connections sometimes that went to the IOI. Were we responsible for those, like warehouses hooking up or
So there's
businesses out there?
certain things within the IOI that they will be responsible for, and then there's certain things that within the city properties. So if they're attaching straight to our sewer lines, that's our sewer connection.
Right.
If it's not, like if they're connecting to the county part or if they're connecting to the federal part, then that is what they are going to handle.
Will that be the ones outside the city, like Liberty Waters in charge of that, like in the Rio Rico area?
It would either be Liberty Water or it could possibly be the Valle Verde. It depends on where it's at and what exactly they need to connect.
Okay, so I guess in the past, all those connections that have been made, they're already paid up, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Because I remember there was a few during the year that it was brought to the attention that they were, I guess, in arrears.
Yes, and they've all paid in full.
They're all paid in full.
They have
So
all paid in full.
So anything new now will be done that way, whatever belongs to the county or outside the city, or it'll be up to the IOI or those entities, not the city.
Right, correct.
Okay, well, thank you. I just wanted to see we're up to date on that.
Mr. Doyle, as far as I know, everything that goes laterals, it pertains to the city, and everything that goes connected to the IOI, then the IOI is responsible, or IBWC. Go ahead, Mr. Gradius.
my concern is with the same thing with the issue of the past due sewer. A lot of those are renters, so we should start looking at the owners. I don't know how legally we can go after them. And another thing is I heard that Valle Verde Water Company is their new management. We might want to explore a contract where they can do our billing for us for a fee or something. But those are some options we need to look up because that's a lot of money that's on the table there.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the state law prohibits us from, if the renter has the contract, the utility contract with the city, state law prohibits us from going after the owner or liening the property. We have to go after the renter. So as Gene was saying, if the renter leaves and they set up a new account in the city, we can go after them. If they leave town, it's anybody's guess whether you connect it or not. But with owners, if it's an owner occupied or commercial property, then we can lien if it comes down to that, and try and get it that way as well. There's a bunch of different tools to collect.
And with our system, tagging on what Mr. Palladini said, even if we have to, let's say, write one off, it stays in our books. And if they happen to come back after 10 or 15 years to open up a new account, we can still go after them because we still have them in our books. So it can be a long-term thing.
Thank you. Mr. Doe?
I guess my question is, and probably maybe legal can probably help with that, would be in all fairness to the people that live in that area that are not connected to city water, because I believe most of our sewer accounts within the city are charged because of water usage, right?
Right.
The amount of water usage. And I don't know the city formula that they're using right now to be able to charge a sewer fee in that area, considering that they're not connected to city water. Is there a formula?
There's a formula that we get a basic annual usage from Valle Verde Water, and we can plug it into a formula. So,
Do they give us that information?
and it's a flat rate. So we don't say your bill every month is going to be 25 and your bill is going to be 50. It's like $50.23 or something like that. And that's taxes included. And so it's all residential is the same and all commercial is the same.
Okay, so there's a flat fee then?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty fair. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the information.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mitchie.
That's it. Oh, sure.
Go ahead, Ms. Montiel.
Thank you for putting my request on your reports. I have one more request.
Sure.
I remember a previous city council member, Mr. Hanesian, used to ask for a list of checks that were issued to our
Yes.
employees, including ourselves. Can you please start including that?
We've actually had that discussion and we're working with MIS to get all of that squared away for you all.
You know that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, we've already been in that discussion, so it'll happen. Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Jean.
Thank you.
We move on to discussion items. Number 7, discussion item A, discussion direction and possible action in-kind support for December 7th event on Morley Avenue, Corre Santo Claus, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. downtown, to Banks Bridge and back. Mr. Coppola, you want to do a little presentation on this? Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On behalf of the Nogales International, I'm Manuel Coppola. I'm the publisher, 268 West Viewpoint Drive in Nogales. We came up with this idea to coordinate, to coincide with the city's Christmas parade events and kind of keep Morley Avenue busy from the morning on. And it's a healthy, fun family event. And we're being joined by Better Business Bureau, Serving Southern Arizona, the Circles of Peace, and Mariposa Community Health Center. And so it's a mile run. It's from 8 to 11. The request was that police department, the in-kind would be some barricades and some traffic control for those 3 hours and keep everybody safe. There'll be kids, and you are welcome to participate. It's only $10, so that's my presentation.
My only question is that have we gone through process of, Parks and Rec and PD and everything
Yes, sir.
on schedule?
I've been dealing through Mr. Oropesa, and he has dealt with Lieutenant Bermudez. So I hope we're
Great.
solid on that.
Green light. Thank you, sir. Well said. Go ahead, Ms. Montiel.
Manny, Mr. Coppola, thank you for having it that day. I know that knowing the way you are, I noticed you probably said, okay, we're going to have the morning full, like you said, of activities for families to start off in the morning and go through the Christmas parade. And we're going to have food trucks too, just so you'll know,
Great.
so they can eat after the parade. But I really appreciate you having it in the morning. So that's a great, fun day for the entire family. And that's what we want to do, is keep Morley busy.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually have to be out there by 5 or something. So
Yeah.
it'll be a full day for us.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. With that said, we make
I
a
guess
motion?
if the request is for
Possible
kind
action.
support, so the council should
We,
you have an action possible. So I would
I
recommend
move to
motion
approve this
second.
motion on the Corre Santa Claus. Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Now we move to orders. A, consideration and possible action of order 2024-11-057, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a contract between the Nogales Police Department and Axon Enterprise, Inc. for 4 years for a purchase of equipment and data storage subscription package to establish a body-worn camera program in the amount of $134,767.99.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. B, consideration possible action of order 2024-11058, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a community investment agreement between the Nogales Police Department and South 32 for a grant award in the amount of $9,000 to support NPD turkey dinner donation, as well as the NPD Christmas Posada toy drive. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. C, consideration and possible action of order 2024-11-059, an order of the City Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, appointing a trustee to the Employee Benefit Trust. Second. Now, I think with this one, we have to appoint somebody from the council to be Mr. Gradias. You replaced me 2 years ago, almost, on the EBT board. Do we have anybody who wants to nominate somebody? Second, Ms. Montiel, are you willing to take the post of EBT? Represented by, for the council. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? This appoints Ms. Montiel to be the council's representative on the EBT meetings. Thank you, Ms. Montiel. D, consideration possible action of order 2024-11-0 6-0, an order of the council with the city of Nogales, Arizona, approving an agreement with the Communication Workers of America. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Great job. And thank you, legal, for looking into that. E, consideration possible action of order 2024-11-061, an order of the council of the city of Nogales, Arizona, appointing Ms. Jasmine Ayala to the Nogales Santa Cruz County Public Library Board.
Second.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Montiel. Ms. Ayala here? Yes, she is.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for stepping up, and I appreciate it. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. F, consideration possible action of order 2024-11-062, an order of the council of the city of Nogales, Arizona, appointing Ms. Arlene Galindo to the Nogales Santa Cruz County Public Library Board. Second. Ms. Arlene, thank you. Thank you for stepping up. All in favor? All right. All opposed? Motion passes. Young ladies, thank you for being part of the city's library. Mr. Vanderbilt, keep it up. Thank you. We go to number 9, ordinance. A, consideration and possible action of ordinance 02. Yes, sir.
We need to go back to the public meeting, public hearing before we move on as well.
Yeah, yes, Mayor. First, now we open the public hearing for the ordinance number
Okay, so now
24.
do we recess our regular one or do we just continue?
I would recommend just open up a public hearing for both 9A and 9B, take public comment, and then the council could, I would recommend that you open up a public hearing for both 9A and 9B, take public comment unless there's any presentation first, and then the council can make its decision after that.
Okay, so now we open a public hearing meeting to open on ordinance A and B. Is there anybody in the public that would like to do any discussion or presentations? We're now open for discussion. Mr. Tapia?
So you close the public hearing and then.
Yeah. So nobody? So now I close the public hearing and we will continue our ordinance on our regular scheduled meeting. Ordinance A, consideration and possible action of ordinance 2024-11-004, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Nogales, Arizona, adopting the zoning code, repealing ordinance 20X and all of the ordinance amendment, providing the servability and establishing an effective date.
Well, so Mayor and Council, the charter requires 2 readings of every ordinance. However, the council can make a motion to waive the second reading. It has to be approved by the full council. And if that motion is approved by the full council, then you can vote on the ordinance if you prefer, if you want to do that tonight.
So just do one. So
We already have a motion on the table.
Well, you would move, you can't make a motion on approving this because it's only the first reading. So you have to make a motion to waive the second reading and vote on that one first. And it has to be approved by the full count, all 6 council members.
go ahead, Ms. Montiel.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the second reading.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? So we waived the second reading. Now, we read A already. So I don't need to read it
Now,
again.
no, now you could take a motion on item 9A.
Okay, so motion to approve A. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Now, item B, consideration and possible action of ordinance 2024-11-005, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Nogales, Arizona, adopting the development standard code, repealing ordinance 20X and all of its ordinance amendments, providing the severability and establishing an effective date. I move to
Waive second.
waive the second reading. Do I have a second? Okay, any discussion? All in favor to move the second reading? Aye. Okay, all opposed? We move to waive the second reading. Now, any motion to approve the item B? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Aye. Motion passes, Letty. Thank you. Mayor's and council report on current events.
Mayor, may I just say something?
Go ahead.
Before Mr. Tapia, before you sit down, I know you were ready to give this presentation, but we waived the second hearing. I just want to thank you. Thank you so much, because I know that the other presenter is here tonight. I didn't want you to think we didn't appreciate it or acknowledge it tonight. Thank you for such a great job that you all did. I was here when you actually initially presented the changes. And I think it's a good thing for the city of Nogales and for everybody that wants to invest in Nogales and set up shop here in Nogales. So I really appreciate it.
Let's not, if I can I have them present? That way everybody knows what we approved.
Well, this would be the same president. You really want to have them present?
Yes, look at, she just came from Tucson.
She's fine.
Are you fine?
I wanted to make sure she
We
was
did all the
thanked.
changes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you want to do a synopsis maybe, or just a quick one, because that's long?
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's up to you, Mayor.
It's too early to go home.
John, just like I have to drive.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the presentation is the same as you had it. The Planning Commission recommended approval as well. It's only a couple slides that were modified. Beside that, there's all the changes. We are making a change from the Planning Commission to today.
Huh? I think I'm good. Huh?
Maybe a
Do
couple minutes.
a quick one. That way
I'll do the
everybody
Cliff
knows
Notes
what we're
version.
talking about. Thank
I won't
you.
even go through it, but I'll give so that they can understand what the heck just happened. Jessica Sarkisian at Upfront Planning, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your trust in Hector and myself. Just as for the Cliff Notes version, for everybody that here has no idea what just happened, there's a couple people who have been here before, is the Nogales Code has not been updated since about 1999. It was written on a typewriter. It was very old and convoluted and hard to understand. And so with this update on the zoning code and the development services code, we updated it, first of all, on the computer. So it'll be easier to update and reuse. We also combined things and simplified it so that people could understand what they were reading. So, and we also updated some of the requirements so there should be more ability for the staff to do affordable housing, different types of housing, different types of commercial, things that haven't been previously there. We added chickens for everybody at the state legislature, different things like that. So it's really just a complete overhaul update, and it's completely amendable as things come up, but it does allow the city to move forward and have, more quality developments and more opportunities for any businesses that come in. So that's the Cliff Notes version.
Thank you. If anybody needs a copy of this or anything, Mr. Tapia is the person to guide you, and hopefully any questions on this, Thank you, both of you, for stepping up and bringing all these ordinances and codes to reality of what we live right now. Thank you.
And Mayor, I can just tell you, I reviewed the work. It's a fantastic zoning code, current, easy to use, easy to read, easy to find. And once it's online, you can actually link to things so you don't have to scroll. It really will help the city move forward in terms of development because people will be able to understand it. And it's not in 1990.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Gradius.
I also want to take a moment to thank you both. This is a tremendous undertaking. I realize everything that went into it and the time and effort. It's much needed. Hopefully it'll improve our buildings here. Everybody will be able to come and have easier access and not have to worry about a cipher codes of what their requirements are. Thank you again. Really great job.
Thank you. And any other discussion? Okay, so greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Next, we move to item number 10, Mayor's and Council's report on current events. Mr. Doyle.
Yes. Well, I just want to, give thanks to all the people involved on the dual events that we had, the bicycle races, which really kind of drew a crowd for the later event also that we had there on downtown Morley, which I want to thank Councilwoman Lopez for, again, having such a successful event that drew a big crowd. It was very enjoyable. I think the people that don't show up are really missing on a lot of not only artistic talent, but cultural information, dances, and the pageantry that goes into that event, the beautiful dresses, and just the whole thing makes you feel like you're not in Nogales, like maybe you're visiting you're visiting some city in Mexico. But above all, what I really noticed was the people that were there, how they were enjoying themselves. They were laid back. It was a real good, positive community feeling of harmony and enjoyment. So thank you, Mrs. Lopez, for all the work that you've been doing in the downtown. And I know that Mrs. Corey also is a key to it all. And I thank everybody that was involved in that because, you guys are doing a great job in bringing those cultural events to life here in our downtown community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Doe. Ms. Melendez?
Well, we're already started with a Christmas village that is going to be at Cotton Park. We had 26 casitas and they're all gone. So we don't have any more casitas available maybe next year. And the setup would be from the 11th through the 15th. That means they're going to be repairing some of the casitas. So really to start decorating the casitas would be from the 18th through the 27th. So by the 28th, it'll be open already to the public through January the 10th. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Menendez. Mr. Gradius?
I don't have anything, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Montiel?
Quick things just to inform the public. So we have the Nogales Christmas Light Parade pretty much all organized, and we've got David Oropesa and his staff going out there and going to put up a couple of banners up throughout the city. It will be Saturday, December the 7th, 2024, of course, at 6 p.m. And that, with that in mind, we're also going to have the Christmas tree downtown on display the week of December the 18th. Parks and Rec, as I said, they're doing a great job in getting all of that prepared. There's so much for them to do, but they're going to do it. Then Santa Claus at the Placita, it's a tradition here in Nogales, Arizona. That will be ongoing Monday to Friday of the month of December for all the kids in the public to visit with Santa Claus. And David Oropesa from Parks and Rec will be publishing the calendar. And I also told him to send them to the schools, to the school superintendent, so she can let all the kids know and their parents know when the Santa Claus will be at Placita, because the Santa Claus gives out candies. And what's the Santa Claus other name?
Mr. Robles.
Yes.
Papa Robles.
Papa Robles, yeah. And so that's really exciting. That is coming up soon. Thank you.
Mayor, may I remind Mrs. Montiel, I didn't want to say anything about the event that she had right here in front of City Hall. Could you comment on that? Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Ms.
Hector was
Montiel.
going to say a little bit about it, right? I won't steal his thunder. Thank you.
I attended, I went to a dinner sponsored by the Centro Comunitario about 2 weeks ago, and it was very interesting. I was so pleased to see that the Housing Authority Gymnasium is being put to good use. You know, they have a lot of programs there, and they're helping a lot of low-income families, and it's a very strong and good program. And also, congratulations, Ms. Lopez, because she got a recognition there from the group. Also, I attended the domestic violence event in front of City Hall. Although it's a sad event, you know, it kind of brings the community together, you know, and share their feelings about this issue about domestic violence. And I think it should be done every year and get the word out to more people so they can attend the event. That's all I have.
Thank you. For those that don't recall, we had great best Mexican baseball games on the 2nd and the 3rd of October. It was great having those teams here participate. Thanks to all those that attended. We had a meeting with a consul general from Germany. It's amazing how, even up to Germany, they know about our border. Happens that there's ownerships of maquilas in Mexico that are owned by German companies. So that was great. Also attended the First Interstate Bank grand opening. Great new opportunities for the city. Had visitors from the World Press Institute, and that included, Ukrainian, Africa people, had some people from, Bulgaria, everything, So that was also very impressive that they're interested. And let me tell you, what they see at the border is a very big surprise to what comes out in the news. Unfortunately, sometimes the news does not reflect what each border is. And so I'm glad to have those people coming to our city and being part of spreading the word of how safe our city and community is. Then we had the great opportunity to gather the community October 22nd and 23rd in the workshop with GSA and EPA on revitalization of our downtown and what's going to be the future of our Decancini port of entry. It's being studied right now and it's being looked at. The needs of the community, the needs of the business people, and the needs for our city, for vehicle commuting, pedestrian commuting, and all that. For those that hear that it's going to be remodeled, the one thing and one rule and regulation that they cannot do, they will not shut the border down. They will keep it going even while they're remodeling. The Decancini port will still continue to be open. We foresee having to talk to the customs, DSA, on maybe having the collaboration and support of keeping Mariposa with different hours or maybe extending to 24 hours during those periods, especially the Century Lane and stuff like that. So those are things that we got in plan. Now that I'm talking on the border, it's also a plan to get them to do extended hours during the holidays. So that is in process. I was in Hermosillo with the Arizona Mexican Commission. where a treaty was, an agreement was signed by both governments, and you'd be surprised how many projects, water projects and sewer water projects are focused on our area of Nogales. So that was a great conference that was participated. We had the great bike race, and I want to thank all the sponsors on the bike race and all the participants for, they had, I think, over 100 more than what they had the prior year. So thank you for, PD, thank you for the great job, controlling traffic and all that. I know it was a collaboration, county police, state police, and everything. So everybody that helped and supported, thank you for your support on that. Then we had the domestic violence ceremony here. Again, it's nice to remember those that were lost because of those situations. And thank you, Ms. Montiel, for taking lead on that. The Port authorities also brought ASU Cronkite students. Again, journalists from the Arizona State University, but from different countries, wanting to learn about our borders, our business and trade. It was very nice, and again, it helps to get the word out into the country, the world of what Nogales is. I had various visitors through South 32, the Sunni tribe. We had the Tohono Nation. We had Navajos. We had the Yaqui. Different tribes that came and visit us in Nogales. Just again trying to see what Nogales is about and how our ports and our trade with Mexico. The trunk or treat, great success. Again, everybody that housing was there. Fire, PD, thank you for setting it up. I think it was amazing. The line never ended. It got to a point where I think we had unfortunate vendors, people that participated run out of candy, and that's the reason we had to shut it down. But it was a great event, great for the community. And, what can I say? TWA, thank you for that agreement. I think it's a win-win and move forward. And that's all I have. Any future agenda items? Go ahead, Mr. Doyle.
If I could just touch a little on what you mentioned about the German interest and the companies in Mexico. I was fortunate enough to get a tour of Continental, which is a German-based company, and I was amazed at how they stress on safety and cleanliness. It looks like you're watching kind of one of those James Bond movies where all the scientists are all dressed in their gowns and they got all the protective gear, but every employee is happy in what they're doing, even though they're monitored constantly from Germany. There's cameras all over the place. The German administrators are from Germany watching all the action that's going on their plant, and they run a very efficient and very safe environment there. And apparently the employees are real happy with the work they do. But the reason I mention this, if some of the council members have never toured one of those companies and you have the opportunity to do so, please do, because it's amazing. It's looking like you're in a whole different, different environment, another country that's really high tech, because Continental doesn't only do the tires like that you see Continental, but they have a lot of products that they make, not necessarily there, but they do the high tech part of their company right there across the border. So I just wanted to say that, and thank you, Mayor, for bringing that up.
Thank you. I have visited that Continental plant, and it is amazing what Mexico goes through to be able to participate and fill in or meet the requirements of standards of the U.S. Really. Thank you. Ms. Montiel, did you have something?
Yeah, just to end the meeting. Welcome, Mr. Kramer. Thank you. Thank you for, yeah, well, thank you. We appreciate it. And the best to you. And I'm sure you're going to do a great job, an awesome job. You're already doing a great job. And I on behalf of the rest of the people sitting on the dais, we appreciate that you gave us a little office there where we can come. And I know that was Mrs. Lopez's original office, but she's going to share it with the rest of us here because that was her idea. But it was your idea to allow us to have a place there so we can just put down our stuff and listen to the constituents and have little meetings there. And it feels very, very welcoming. Thank you so much. Great way to start. Thank you.
You're reading my notes? Mr. Kramer, thank you. Some words here. You're running out of battery.
It's all right, I'll talk loud.
No.
No, thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. I can't get any better because you voted 7-0 to bring me in, right? So hopefully we keep that going. But thank you to each and every one of you. Yes, that office space is there. Hopefully you take advantage of it. Obviously, if my door's open, stop in, because there were certainly some good conversations needed. Certainly the mayor and I have had some good conversations in the 2.5 weeks. Met with the directors today, so I've already gone over a few things with them. So hopefully we can carry out your visions with what they're doing. So we appreciate that. To each and every one of the directors for coming in this morning as well. It was short notice, but they were there. Thank you. And thank you again to the council and mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Future agenda items? Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Mr. Kramer, I don't know if this should be on the future agenda, but at least on a monthly report, what's going on, an update on the Chase building and the National Guard building, what's going on with that. So we haven't talked about that in a long time. And also on Frank Reed, I know that I asked for an agenda item before, an update on the Frank Reed Road project. I know that there's a walk path there, but it just goes underneath the bridge and it just stops there. Is it going to continue all the way up to the high school, or? So, I can get an update on that.
Mr. Guerra's not here, but remember that was the money that, that's all the money was able to do with ADOT. And yes, the plan is to continue that all the way, through the high school and down to Grand Avenue. So, Mr. Guerra's not here, so he can't answer us now. Do you know anything about it, sir?
Mayor, we probably should.
It's a
put it on
future
the
agenda, yeah.
And then they can be updated at that point, since it's not on our agenda tonight.
Yep.
All right, if you please.
We'll put it on the future agenda.
We'll definitely give you an update.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
All right. Anything else said? Future agenda items? Okay. Thank you. Move to adjourn this meeting. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes.